1970s. This has been embraced at all levels by constituents and fans alike, hasn't it?
Absolutely, and the best thing about it is they've got the noise right. Absolutely nailed it. Even here yesterday, which is a very big circuit here at Tailem Bend, the noise was still loud enough. You go, yeah, that's a genuine sounding race car right now, and particularly around this circuit where they were really, really fast yesterday. I'm expecting to be well under that practice time from yesterday. We've got the likes of Tom Randall, Anton De Pasquale, John Martin. Well, this enough, and those three guys are open wheelers.
And fresh faces. Braden Wilmington, really excited about this young guy. For those of you that followed touring car racing, you'll remember his dad Gary was a stalwart of touring car racing in this country, a popular privateer. Braden has been doing some speed car racing, some sprint car racing in both Australia and America for that matter.
Yeah.
So speedway, but made a really significant change and is loving having a crack at racing open wheelers at S5000.
Limited experience on tarmac though compared to his dad Gary, as we check in with the 24, John Martin, working his way around the circuit. So how it works for qualifying, it's a bit different to what we saw just a few moments ago in Astron Tech qualifying. It's a 20-minute session. The fastest from this session will nominate where they start for the qualifying heat, which is later today. Now, if you follow Speedway on a regular basis, you'll know that if you start off the front, well, you're going to start off the back for the second qualifying heat tomorrow. The combined points of that will then move into the race tomorrow afternoon, which I think is cool. We didn't really get to see how this race was going to pan out with that shortened event at Sandown, but up until that point, it was an amazing first few laps.
This is the car that was involved in an incident at Sandown last time out with Alex Davison. They've repaired it. It's just a great testament to the structural integrity of these brand new race cars. Being driven this weekend by James Winslow, a guy who's had a lot of experience he's a two-time Australian Gold Star champion, has been racing in Asia and Europe in European Le Mans Series, for example. He was at Spa while you guys were covering the opening round at Sandown, and he said, man, I was getting stopped by people in the paddock over there asking about what's happening with S5000 at Sandown.
It's so cool, and the international exposure this has had. We had Formula One star Rubens Barrichello in the field. At Sandown, we had Indy 500 starter Matt Brabham. Well, that's just perfect, isn't it? Hand in hand, and Brabham in an open wheel car. They were at the first round. We're expecting some more names to join us when the 2020 championship gets underway. This guy will be good to watch this weekend. The young teenager from Melbourne in Tom Randall in this beautiful black and gold Penrite car.
He gave me the tour of the car yesterday. They're just amazing. And he is in a great headspace at the moment. Off the back of a podium finish at the Sandown 500, a nail-biting podium. There was a point where he didn't think he was going to get it, he and Lee Holdsworth. They did. He's come here and been fastest in both the opening practice sessions, relishing being behind the wheel of an open wheel car like this once again.
It's just clicked this year for him. I think he's just sitting on the top of that wave right now of confidence, and he's hoping to take that into this weekend. There is car 49 on his way around the back side of the circuit. So just closing the loop on how qualifying works. Those that qualify in the bottom 25% will start both their qualifying heats in their original qualifying position as well. So just to tighten it up, it sounds complicated, but it's not. Man, there's a lot of dust and a lot of dirt still on the circuit there at 12, and now he's cultivating the grass and the dust on the outfield is Tom Randall.
Now, this is a story for me. I wonder if Cam and Aaron are pursuing that. Is that what kind of saw the end of our qualifying for TCR? Is that what really affected everyone's chance of unseating Dylan O'Keefe from pole position? Because we do have a bit of dirt debris. Now Ricky Capo goes round. This is a story.
It is, absolutely. And it's at the same spot. It is. He rejoins. There's a lot of dirt on the inside. And I don't think that's from the last session. That looks fairly fresh. There's a lot more there than what we saw. And this will make an impact on the times, as Randall, even with that off, made a 48 at the finish line. Nowhere near what we saw in practice yesterday. Starts a lap now.
Meantime, Johnny Martin stitches together a lap. It's a 46.02, but it's well shy of the numbers that we saw on Friday. And we should point out too, guys like Randall, if they get a clean run, we're fairly confident they could have a shot at the outright record here on the international circuit at Tailem Bend.
Sought some clarification, guys, from the S5000 category management. There is a little tweak this weekend to the qualifying format that we need to update you on. So for today, qualifying will determine the grid straight and plain. How they qualify is how they will start qualifying race one. this afternoon. Tomorrow for qualifying race 2, the top 8 will be reversed for that race, and then it's the combined points that will determine the grid for the feature race tomorrow afternoon a bit later on. So a small little tweak from the grid draw that we had at Sandown back in September, but nevertheless, I just stood on the pit wall while these things went past. How good are these things? Sensational. All the TCR teams who are weighing their cars after the last qualifying session here in the pit lane and almost forgetting to push their cars in to get weighed because they're looking over the fence to see what these things are doing.
Sounds good with your mic open, Noons. Might leave that open for the entire session.
Happy to do so.
Down in pit lane. They were great at Sandown a few weeks ago, and the interest from the general public on a Friday, they were the best Friday crowds in history there. People coming in after work going, what is that noise? Bouncing around Springvale. Well, it was these beautiful open wheel cars, these Ligier on-roads that punch out over 650 horsepower, but it's the sound that captures you the most. Randall's the top, 143.07.
Good numbers popping up for John Martin and Anton Di Pasquale as well. So Johnny Martin now with a 42.73. They thought, talking with James Golding yesterday and even Thomas Randall, they thought a 1 minute 40 lap was possible if the track conditions were right today.
It's possible. So 3/10 at the moment on Randall. Di Pasquale, who makes his debut. Golding 4th. Will Brown is in 5th position as the cars set their first flying laps of the session. Just under 14 minutes to go. Let's go back to pit lane.
So, Rusty, you asked a question about track conditions, particularly at the end of TCR's qualifying session. I've spoken to a few of the team bosses. They said that the track conditions started deteriorating from halfway through qualifying for TCR. They said it didn't get any worse at the back end, but certainly the more cars that went off, the worse the track conditions got.
Thanks, Cam. And it clearly has continued into the start of qualifying here for S5000. So hopefully with some activity, that will get tidied up and we'll get some laps that maybe just might threaten the fastest we've ever seen here at Tailem Bend. A massive congratulations to Sam Shikin and everyone involved in this facility. They started turning the soil back in 2016. They had their first major events here in 2018. In the last 24 to 48 hours, it's been recognised on the international stage. It is an award-winning motorsport venue. Well done.
That's incredible. And when you can see it coming in, as we now see Tim Macro off the track, that's turn 12 once again.
That's uncharacteristic, Matt, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the spot we talk about. That's the trouble zone of this course. So he's parked on the outfield as Randall goes quicker again into the 42s. John Martin responds to the 42.0, so getting close to a 41 as Di Pasquale crosses the line in the car that Rubens Barrichello drove at the first round. He stays in 3rd position with still 12.5 minutes to go. Macro still stranded there in the Boylan Hollinger Engineering entry.
Running effectively his own operation this weekend, a little different to what we saw at Sandown. Now, he's not moving at the moment. I think he's sort of making eye contact and waving at the marshals there. Macro has a huge amount of experience with these cars and has effectively been the benchmark, hasn't he? So we've gone red. Session has been stopped here at Tailem Bend. That's Michael Gibson coming into the pit lane. Had a nice chat with him yesterday. A family that has lots of history in Australian and international motorsport for that matter.
Yeah, it dates back to the 60s. His grandfather, Hoot Gibson, was a regular runner with Lex Davis and the likes of the Armstrong 500 in its initial years. He brings this beautiful WM Waste car back into the pit. So the session's gone red with still 12 minutes and 10 seconds to go. With frozen that time, Tom Randall was on a back-to-back flying lap, but it's for this reason. Tim Macro in the Macro Motorsport prepared car this weekend. He drove for M-Tech at the first round and now is stranded. There's Braden Wilmington. Love the colours of the 89 machine as he comes back into the pits. Currently in 10th position with a 51.6. So 142.09 is 0.2 of a second clear for John Martin over Tom Randall, Anton Di Pasquale, and James Golding was a real surprise pack. And that's where James Golding really rose to be a genuine star. He drove very, very well in that feature race over at Sandown. He sits in 4th position ahead of Will Brown, James Winslow, Ricky Capo, who had a spin, and Tim Macro, who stays in 8th. And he's the reason why the red is out as we watch Will Brown in the KMC Wheels Eggleston Motorsport prepared car.
He's been staying at the hotel here at the track. Posted a photo of his 2 helmets. He has one obviously for TCR and one for the open wheel activity this weekend. He too, as he did at Sandown, is thoroughly enjoying being a part of the series. Big year for S5000 in 2020. We'll cover that for you during the course of the day. Headlined, I guess you could say, Matt, by a brilliant start at the Australian Grand Prix. How cool to see them there.
Good to have open wheelers back at Formula One next year, and they'll love that sound. Remember, we had the historic demonstration for F5000, I think it was 7 or 8 years ago, and you could hear those cars from the middle of downtown Melbourne on that day, but they'll run there as a championship round in March next year as the cars return to the lane. It's a long lap around here when you think 1:42 was a flying lap, and they're coming back under red flag conditions. We're looking at well over 2 minutes to get back here. The elapsed time continues to count, but we've frozen the clock with 12 minutes and 10 seconds remaining here. S5000 qualifying, the first appearance here in South Australia at the Bend Motorsport Park.
So they recover Tim Macro's car. Look at it. You can even see this. You can only see his eyes there, but you can sense him smiling, can't you? That is Thomas Randall. Some funny stuff posted on social media yesterday with he and Lee Holdsworth telling dad jokes. Holdsworth, as a father, has that nailed, can I just say? He was very, very good. Let's go to Cam.
Well, I've got Tom Randall here at the moment. Tom, very quick in this car yesterday. I saw comments that you're likening this to the sports sedan.
Yeah, it's a very similar driving style and a similar car feeling, to be honest. It feels like the mechanical grip is quite similar. So, yeah, I think the new tyres are we haven't run a new tyre set before, so they're taking a long time to get on. So, yeah, just building up to it. Made plenty of mistakes in my fastest lap. So, yeah, just trying to gel with the car as well and, yeah, build up this tyre temp. So I think the times will tumble as the session continues.
The question's been asked by Greg Rust as to whether the track condition as we're starting to roll back out at the moment. Hold on a second, I'll see if I can still... No, I think Tom's got to go. He's on his way back out, guys. That's called live TV, Rusty.
Cam, you might want to finish it, though. Do you think, from what you've seen so far, that you know, in your opinion, or what you've heard from the teams that will challenge? We'll go to Nooms in a second, too.
I just ducked into Tim Macro's garage. He's brought the car back, just coming back in a couple of bays down from me here. I quickly spoke to Barry Jones, and they weren't quite sure exactly what happened there. Looks like he's just had a spin and ended up beached up on the curb. Needs some help to get that car off and rolling. He's come back to the pit lane, and the rest of them now are flying back out there, green flag flying. Let's get back to qualifying for S5000.
And that time did count down. In the end, they've reset it to 8 minutes, so we did lose about 4 minutes off the session. Will Brown stays in pit lane. We pick up Tom Randall, the 23-year-old from Melbourne, former Toyota Racing Series champion. Not the 86 tin tops, but the open wheeler, which is widely recognised as one of the real tough open wheel categories in the world. He won that in 2017. And now it's behind the wheel of this beautiful Penrite S5000 car for Team BRM. South Australian team are preparing this car to ride on top of the 23-year-old's car around the backside of the circuit.
This is live. This is not pre-recorded and sped up in any way, all right? Enjoy the ride here. This is mighty. These cars are unbelievably good. We look at Anton Di Pasquale in the lane. Now, remember, he was starting to piece together a good lap. He's currently third in this qualifying session and was at the beginning of what looked like something good before they red flagged it. He'll reset and go again. He, too, has had a great couple of months on balance, hasn't he?
Yeah, you just get the feeling the changing of the guard's coming already. These names that were swinging in the lower categories the past couple of years are now really becoming genuine racing stars of Australia. He's one of them, Braden Wilmington, his first appearance in S5000 as well, who runs in 10th position. There's James Golding, Boost Mobile sponsorship on his Gary Rogers Motorsport prepared car this weekend. He runs in 4th position right now. He chases Ricky Capo, who had a little off earlier in this session. It was Golding who won the feature race at Sandown, the shortened feature race over there, which will come up here tomorrow afternoon, much longer distance, which what these cars will love. Rain on the Who's Your Tyre, prepared by Max Dumsney Motorsport. And they feel as this session goes on, into the races, the tyre gets better and better. As he comes through to start his lap, we'll go back down to pit lane.
Guys, we just saw Anton Di Pasquale roll back onto the circuit in our beautiful red S5000 car that Rubens Barrichello drove in the last event at Sandown. And he hasn't come alone here this weekend. In the Team BRM garage is Mirko De Rossa. He's engineered from his Erebus Penrite supercar. So it's sort of wherever Anton goes, Mirko goes. You get a driver, you get his engineer with him as well. Great opportunity to work on an amazing car that's very different to what they were doing last weekend at Sandown and what they'll be doing next weekend in Newcastle. No roof, a couple of wings, different sound, and big fat rear tyres. Something a bit different for some engineers to play with. They love race cars and making them go fast, and anytime you can throw a different challenge, they've certainly got that today.
Good spot moves. We understand Todd Hazelwood may be a special guest here across the weekend as well, so we'll keep an eye out for him. John Martin has the fastest time of 42.09. You're right with Anton Di Pasquale now. Just starting to wind up for a quick lap on those Hoosier tyres. Cars sound magic, absolutely magic.
Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, it's pretty dirty out there, and we've got a lot of oversteer. We didn't run on really good tyres yesterday, so I think, yeah, we're sort of hurting for that a little bit. So we've got a lot of oversteer in the car, so we're just trying to fix it. We'll go back out.
Well, hopefully you can do it, and good luck, Tim.
Thank you.
I mean, he's underscored what we've been saying about just the state of the track. More activity here might clean things up. That could build over the final 4.5 minutes to an exciting finish here. So a 41.67 from Thomas Randall. 1 minute 41.67. He is flying. Back to James Winslow. The margin is 0.42 between Randall and John Martin. Then Di Pasquale.
And Martin's on a flying lap too. So we pick up James Winslow, another one of the open wheel stars, multi-time Gold Star champion of the country. The English-born racer who was out here and dominated F3 back in the mid-2000s, behind the wheel of car number 8, the Astron Tech-sponsored car, down at the hairpin. John Martin is the one we want to pick up on here, fastest second sector, and looking to respond to Tom Randall's time of 1:41.67. Here's Will Brown, he's on a flying lap too. Position number 6. This might move him up the order. It wasn't a great second sector. And to the finish line, moves up one spot with that lap into 5th. With just under 4 minutes remaining.
Martin a 1:41.62 from Randall. It's 0.04 seconds as Brown goes off. Now he wasn't happy at the conclusion of Friday. This doesn't look sharp at the moment for the 38. So Brown is down provisionally. P5. Look how tight it is at the top. Golding, position 4. That's the 34 entry. Ricky Capo, position 7 right now.
Wonder if that track does clear up at turn number 12, which it's slowly building. Will we see times maybe in the 40s as the weekend evolves? Ricky Capo across the back of turn 14, down the hill to the second last corner. You'll see the pit paddock, and there it is, a 41.3 for Tom Randall. He responds and goes at least 3/10 quicker than John Martin. These two trading fastest laps here in qualifying for S5000 as Capo comes around. This should move him up the order. He was in 7th position in the Valvoline entry. It goes up one spot. John Martin's responding though. Fastest second sector once again.
This is like tennis. It's the return serve from Johnny Martin. So we saw a fastest first sector from Randall. Martin has the fastest in the middle part of the track. Let's see what Martin can stitch together here. He goes, Randall has a 1 minute 41.34. It's 0.28 to John Martin. We're just waiting to see what that final sector is for John Martin. Here we go.
To the finish line comes Martin. Let's go back up in the provisional pole. No, it's a 42.3. So he's about a second away from Brown's time, Randall's time at the top. 2 minutes remaining. Here is the Penrite de Vilbius entry across the top of turn 12. And that's getting a lot better now. That track's starting to widen up nicely.
Something happened to John Martin in that third sector. He lost a little bit of ground there. The first 2 portions of the lap looked as though he was on for provisional pole position. This guy has bolted together some ripping sectors and may get down into the 1 minute 40s. We're nearing the conclusion of the lap. His own marker is a 1 minute 41.34. Out of the final turn, it rises up onto the front. Oh, Rod's wide! Blown it! That'll hurt Thomas Randall.
Better time still. Just
crazy. 1:41.33. That's insane.
If that wasn't half a second, well, 33.0 at the final, so he lost 2/10. That was maybe going to be a 40.9 maybe, or a 41 flat. Even with that lose, he still managed to improve on the time. The gap stays at 0.2 of a second. It's hard not to get excited about this.
Oh.
Can
That's
Brown
insane.
respond?
The moment he ran wide in that final turn, I thought, gone, and he did lose time, as you rightly point out. What would the lap have been? Maybe a 1 minute 40. Brown looking to improve. At the moment, he's down uncharacteristically for Will Brown in position number 7. It's a personal best through the first sector. He's battling here, though, isn't he? This is not like him.
No, 1.3 seconds away from the glory time of Randall as Martin goes back into second. Di Pasquale sat there for a split second. As now the checkered flag will wave on the 21-year-old from Toowoomba. Will it improve him? Moves him up a handful of spots into fourth. 2 tenths behind. And check those margins again. 3 tenths of a second, covering 4 cars.
He's pushed there. There's a lot of Will Brown in that final lap time, I reckon. Well done. Brave stuff. And he'll be looking just to fine-tune things, make the car a little nicer for the action to come this weekend. We go Di Pasquale to the top. 1 minute 41.27. It's not over. He puts that car that Barrichello raced at Sandown to the top of the order at the end of the session. Randall's times in the first 2 sectors don't look like they can move it. They can't. It's a 41.33 in the end. Qualifying at the top is split by 0.05 of a second. Epic stuff. Di Pasquale, welcome to S5000. We're loving having you here. Top job.
Absolutely insane. 0.058 of a second. Di Pasquale to Randall, and 1 second covering the first 6 cars in qualifying here today for S5000. This is just the entree for 2020, and already punching well above its weight limit, the S5000 class. And Anton Di Pasquale scores pole position in the Melbourne Formula One Grand Prix, 25th running livery, the car that Rubens Barrichello drove. We know what this guy's like in an open wheel car. He won the Australian Formula 4 Championship. He went to Europe. And for many that know this guy, that's not a surprise.
I think that you said to me yesterday that the last time he was in an open wheel in proper angry terms was back in 2015, and they did not have the horsepower these cars have. So thrilled to have him, and hasn't he done an amazing job? A 1 minute 41.27 in our qualifying session for S5000 here at the Bend. This is a great track to showcase these cars. Look at the differences in the times at the end. 0.05 of a second to the Penrite entry of Thomas Randall. That's as close as you like. A couple of other stories to emerge and all of that. The danger man, Tim Macro this afternoon.
Absolutely. He'll start from 7th position. James Winslow just behind. Yeah, John Martin 3rd, Will Brown, James Golding. Will Brown dug deep in the final couple of minutes of that session to finish in 4th. Michael Gibson and Braden Wilmington, his first appearance behind the wheel of an S5000 car, will start from position number 10. There's a lot of curious eyes and people here watching to see what this category will do, but a lot of people making the trek up from downtown Adelaide to be a part of this today, to witness this history-making event. The first time the S5000 category has come to South Australia, and there is the old pole man, Anton Di Pasquale. 141.272, pole position for Team BRM.
Terrific to have the calibre of young drivers that we have in this class here again this weekend. Di Pasquale. It's a bit of an effort. You've got to, it's almost like doing a chin-up when you pull yourself up and out of the car with that, when you've got to get out of the S5000 entry, when you grab hold of the halo. Epic battle between those two that unfolded. Johnny Martin will be good as the race happens today. We'll take you to pit lane though as it all wraps up at the end of S5000. Here's Aaron Noonan.
Unbelievably close qualifying session you have had. Hey, sensational sessions. There was cars so close, the times were being traded. That was great stuff. You don't look like you're beating, you're on pole.
It's good, mate. It's obviously the first tick for the weekend. It's cool to get the first qualifying session, one of these cars get pole. I haven't looked at the times or anything, but it sounds like it was close. It's hard because the tyres keep getting better and better, so I'm sure if we had a few more laps, we all would have gone a bit quicker, but it's cool. So, a race this afternoon, we'll see how we go, but having a ball so far.
The field this weekend's full of really fast young drivers who have been in supercars in recent times. Your good mate Will Brown, who you've been sharing a car with for the last few weeks, you're up against him this weekend. It's a great little field here in terms of the quality of the young drivers who have open wheeler resumes from the junior categories, but now stepping into something that's got a bit more grunt.
Yeah, it's awesome. Obviously, Will's pretty keen to have a battle at some point this weekend, and obviously Tom, we're teamed up, and he's been really fast. He's had it over me so far, so we're pushing me quite hard, but we're having heaps of fun. The cars are really cool to drive, and it's an awesome feel.
Good fun to drive the cars?
Yeah, it's awesome, mate. Obviously, very fast. We've been tuning them up quite a lot. So, yeah, we're having fun. We're trying to look for something, make the car the way I like it, and it's been really good. I've brought my engineer over from the supercars, and we're having a ball learning and working together, so it's all good.
Good luck this afternoon.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
1-2, just checking I've got it. Yep. And Tom Randall, mate, if not for that final corner, you...